Good evening, my Real News Midday TV family. Welcome back to the channel for another news update. And in the news this evening, speeding Mercedes-Benz crashes after eluding cops in traffic stops. Police are reporting that the driver of a red Mercedes-Benz GLE 450 was arrested after he eluded cops twice during traffic stops on the Williams-Field Highway and Winston Jones Highway near Mandeville before crashing into two vehicles, including a truck on Tuesday. There were no reports of serious injury. A police who identified himself as Constable Barrett, assigned to the Area 3 Highway Patrol, said about 12:30 p.m. police were conducting speed and spot check operations along the P.J. Patterson Highway when the red GLE Mercedes-Benz was signaled to stop. It was clocked at 162 km per hour in an 80-kilometer zone, the policeman said. The vehicle eluded us. We called for assistance. An inspector and a team at Williamsfield stated that they stopped the vehicle. The driver stopped and he sped off later, resulting in a collision along the Winston Jones Highway, added the policeman. A police source said the driver of the car identified himself as a Car-Mart dealer. However, the police have expressed a concern that it is difficult to trace cars with demonstration plates. We are imploring motorists when they are signaled to stop to adhere to the road signs, said Constable Barrett. We have an issue with the blue plates because once they refuse to stop, we have no way of knowing who these vehicles belong to, as they cannot be identified by our current system, added Barrett. St. Catherine men accused of stealing motor car freed. Two St. Catherine men who were charged with the larceny of a motor car were freed in the parish court on Monday after the prosecution offered no evidence against them. 33-year-old laborer Ramon Williams and the 30-year-old Vernal Marsh were freed after attorney-at-law Sheldon Campbell submitted that the Crown was unable to mount a successful prosecution against them. Parish Court Judge Venice Blackstock Murray upheld the submission. It was alleged that on January 12, 2024, the complainant parked his 2013 Toyota Wish motor car at home in Whitewater Meadows, St. Catherine, then later discovered that it was missing. A report was made to the Spanish Town Police and an investigation was launched. About 2 p.m. that day, the vehicle was intercepted along St. John's Road and both the men were arrested and subsequently charged with larceny. They made numerous court appearances and maintained their innocence throughout. Body of man found in house in Rollington Town. The police are investigating the death of a man whose body was found inside a house in Rollington Town. He is yet to be identified. Reports are that about 8:30 a.m. on Monday, the police were alerted to the area. A team responded and entered the dwelling and discovered the body of the man. The scene was examined and the body was removed. Two NSWMA employees charged for allegedly stealing fuel from garbage trucks. Two employees of the National Solid Waste Management Authority were on Monday arrested and charged by the Counter-Terrorism and Organized Crime Investigation Branch for allegedly stealing fuel from garbage trucks while on duty for more than a year. The police say the alleged theft, which reportedly occurred between February 2024 and April 2025, resulted in significant losses for the garbage collection agency. Charged with larceny as a servant and the simple larceny are 35-year-old Kemar Cousins of Regent Street in Kingston and 57-year-old Karim Isaacs of Jonestown in St. Andrew. They are to appear before the Kingston and St. Andrew Parish Court on July 16. The police report that both employees operated garbage trucks for the NSWMA and allegedly made unauthorized stops at various locations during their official duties. It is being further alleged that they illegally siphoned the fuel from the trucks during these stops. The matter was brought to the attention of CTOC and an investigation was launched. The men were subsequently arrested and charged on Monday, May 5, in connection with several incidents of fuel theft from the company. Former Indicom investigator says witness signed the statement he now claims is inaccurate. Molly Plummer, a former senior investigator at the Independent Commission of Investigations who probed the Mariodine case, today told the Westmoreland Circuit Court that one of Dean's fellow inmates who testified that errors were made in his witness statement signed the statement as true in 2014. The inmate had testified earlier in the trial of Corporal Elaine Stewart and the constables Juliana Cleveland and Marlon Grant, who are charged in relation to Dean's death, that elements of his statement about what he witnessed when Dean was beaten at the Barnett Street Police Station lockup in St. James on August 3, 2014 were not accurate, and that the Indicom officer who recorded his statement had misinterpreted what he said at the time. But under cross-examination from defense attorney Martin Thomas today, Plummer testified that in taking the inmate's statement on August 7, 2014, she gave him an opportunity to correct any mistakes that may have been made according to standard protocol, and that he signed all 7 pages of the statement. Plummer also testified that she arranged to collect exhibits related to the cell where Dean was beaten, including photographs that were taken of the cell itself. However, she said she could not recall whether she collected a pair of shoes that were said to belong to Dean. She also said she could not recall seeing surveillance cameras at the cell block when she went there. Stewart, Cleveland, and Grant are charged with manslaughter and misconduct in a public office arising from Dean's death on August 6, 2014, 3 days after he was beaten while in custody for possession of a ganja spliff. Stewart is also charged with perverting the course of justice under allegations that she ordered the cleaning of the cell where Dean was beaten prior to the arrival of Indicom investigators. Kid charged with murder and larceny. A court date is being finalized for 25-year-old tractor driver Kemal Kid Kelly for the stabbing death of a 64-year-old man in St. Andrew last year. Dead is Paul Roden of Lily Valley, Stony Hill, St. Andrew. Kelly of Mannings Hill District is charged with murder. The Red Hills Police report that at 6 a.m. on Wednesday, November 20, residents stumbled upon Roden lying along the Rock Hall Main Road and summoned the cops. On their arrival, Roden, who was seen with multiple stab wounds to the neck and upper body, and was transported to a hospital where he was pronounced dead. An investigation was launched into the matter, which later led detectives to a construction site in the Red Hills area on Monday, November 25. Kelly, who was at the location, ran upon seeing the police. A Toyota Axio motor car belonging to the deceased was recovered from the site with bloodstains on the seat. On Wednesday, March 5, 2025, Kelly turned himself into the police after he was injured in a confrontation with them. He was subsequently charged on Friday, May 2, after a question and answer session in the presence of his attorney. Thank you everyone for watching. See you tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. for another news update.